Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Here. Yeah, Chappers man, welcome in. Good morning, everyone. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. For those of you who don't know, my name is Graham Day, and I'm joined by the man that we call Baby.
Hola.
Hola. If anyone in the chat, let me know if my fan is too loud, because I'm preempting the fact that my room turns into a full-on hotbox, sweatbox sort of kind of thing. So I've had the fan on all morning before I come in. So let me know if it's too loud. If it is, I can turn it down. But how's things, babe?
Yeah, good man. Good. How about you?
Not too bad, apart from still with the acheage. So for those of you that didn't tune in yesterday morning, before I came on stream, I got up and did one of those like Instagram fitness workout things with the missus, and it's like, oh yeah, just a bit of fitness. Yeah, but when you've not done any fitness, then you're trying to witness this fitness. Nah, it's not good. So yesterday, my legs were in bits. Today it was a weights workout. So dumbbells, only lightweight, so it's only like 1.5 keys on each kind of thing. But doing like punches and sit-ups with punches and anyway, long story short, I can't lift up my arms. And my legs still ache from yesterday. Plus there was sit-ups with punches, so my stomach hurts. So long story short, my limbs and the core of my body hurts. So yeah, the only thing that doesn't ache is my head. Yay! But apart from...
May do after the conversation we're about to have today.
Oh yeah. What about you? Golfage, perhaps?
No, there was no golf yesterday. Yesterday was the day off.
Gasp.
So I did the garden instead. Yeah. I played for like a week straight, so I needed to have a day off because my arms were hurting. So we decided to do something that my arms would hurt again by doing the garden, which is good really, because it's meant to be pissing it down and thunderstorms for the next 3 days. So that's going to be great.
It looks bad outside.
Yeah, it's so dark.
Yeah. So, like, anyone that watches the stream over a few days will probably see that the colour of the room behind me changes, and that doesn't, I mean, it does change in terms of, I have things like, if I press on my lighting, I can change my Philips Hue lighting to go white, back to the ICU purpley kind of thing. But usually I just have it just on purple, because ICU colours, that's what it is. But if the room gets a bit more whitewashed, it's because it's a nice day. Anyway, the more colour you see in the room behind me, you can tell how grim it is. So if my room gets more purple, Manchester looks shit today. If my room gets more white, Manchester's bright and sunny. So there you go. You don't even need weather. Just check the colour of the background of the room that I'm in, and you can see what it's like in Manchester. There you go. But Chappers man, good morning. Effing go. I'm not going to say fucking. Oh no! God. Enix, Ads Plays, Gatekeeper TV, and Mr. T all dropping emotes. What does that sound like, that emote bit?
They all say hello.
There we go. So for everyone that's new here, as mentioned, my name is Graham. This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice cream fashion, this is the Scoop Your Daily Dose of News from the world of video games and beyond. I mean, some may say it's the UK's #1 video games podcast. That some is us, but it's fine. It's all good. But we give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions in return, so we can have a backwards and forwards. And it's important that if you're in the chat, you drop those hello emotes like everyone that's just there, just on the screen. Yeah, see? All that. Make sure you get involved. Give us your opinions. We want to know what you think about what we think. That's what I say, the thoughts and impressions again, but you know, I've said that a few times, so I'm not going to say thoughts and impressions, because if you say thoughts and impressions too, my God, you get what I'm doing, Anyway, get involved, because we turn this into a YouTube video and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play, and everyone watching on demand gets to drop comments below the videos, but they don't get to involve themselves in the live conversation. So make sure you use the opportunity for everyone else. Yeah, everyone in the chat, how is everyone doing today? Is everyone ready for a bit of PS5 news? Because, you know, it's pretty much all we're going to talk about for the next 6 months, which is not a bad thing. But, yeah. First story is... it's a pretty decent story to start with. We'll jump straight into things. And this story, I have a note from Bib just here that says, dedicated entirely to Enix_PvP in the chat. Nice, Bib, nice.
I heard he's a big fan. He sent me this one.
Right, he did. Oh, okay.
Jokes. He would never send me anything to do with the PS5.
Sherif Saed for VG247 says PS5 will outsell Xbox Series X, but both will sell less than the current gen consoles, predicts an analyst. So industry analysts are beginning to weigh in on the coming battle between PS5 and Xbox Series X. Piers Harding-Rolls, research director for games at Ampere Analysis, has revealed some interesting insights into how next gen will shake out. Does that mean shape out? I don't know. For both PS5 and Xbox Series X. According to Harding-Rolls, what a name. Sounds like some sort of breakfast cereal. Would you, not cereal, breakfast. Would you want a couple of Harding-Rolls, mate? Oh, fucking, I'd love some. According to Harding-Rolls via Games Industry, the console market will remain large at least for another generation. Part of that has to do with the leap in hardware specs and other upgrades both PS5 and Xbox Series X will bring, which should keep things interesting for another few years. Harding-Rolls reckons that both consoles will have almost even start at launch, which is pretty standard, before the gap widens. PS5, he predicts, will end up being the top seller. He expects Sony's console to sell 66 million units by the end of 2024, compared to 37 million units for the Xbox Series X. With that in mind, the analyst doesn't believe the console market has any more room left for growth. He pointed out that console sales have been declining since the PS2/original Xbox era, where both combined achieved 179 million units. This is more than the PS3, Xbox 360 generation at 171 million units, and the current generation is lower still at 157 million units. And a quote within the article says, while the market is still substantial and likely to be consistently large, at least during the next console life cycle, what has been proven over the last decade is that even with significant resources ploughed into growing adoption on a global basis, including more serious entry into a series of additional territories, substantial hardware unit sales growth for Sony and Microsoft combined has not materialized, he explained. As for price, Harding-Rolls expects both the PS5 and Xbox Series X to have the same $450 to $500 price tag. For more on the next-gen offerings from Microsoft and Sony, check out how the PS5 specs compare to the Xbox Series X. I just want to draw attention to that bit there. $450 to $500. I mean, I did say $479, which is smack bang in the middle of that. That's all I'm going to say. So if you want to know the prices of things, just ask me. I'll tell you about 6 months before. Yeah. There you go. It's fine. Jordan says, it's known PS will outsell the Xbox. It's a more known brand with gamers. I mean, there is that advantage there. I mean, Sony had the advantage coming into consoles. Obviously, I mean, they had the advantage because they had a full generation extra. But they also had putting consoles into... I mean, not putting consoles, because consoles existed with the Sega and the Nintendo key era, but Sony were already in home electronics. I know Microsoft did PCs and things, but not home electronics, consumer electronics kind of thing. So Sony had the advantage then, plus an extra generation, so they do have that. But Xbox smashed it with the Xbox 360 generation. And obviously Sony did change things around after a poor start. But yeah, I do think that. It's not necessarily a surprise with what we're looking at right now. So this current generation, according to Bacon Rolls, what was his name? Harding Rolls, not Bacon Rolls. God, who said Bacon Rolls? Piers. I mean, this guy. If this guy didn't go to Eton, I have no idea where he went for his education, because his name is Piers Harding Rolls. If he doesn't speak like that, if he's a northern man, I will never eat bacon again. I will eat bacon again. That's a lie. There's no way that I will not eat bacon again. But still, Piers Harding Rolls reckons that we have 157 million consoles sold in the current generation, and probably 2/3 of that is Sony, because we knew that Sony have passed 110. So you've got to imagine. Let's just say 110 to 50. I know that's 160, which is a bit up, but something in that sort of region. So yeah, that's not surprising that the PlayStation will sell more, because on the current install base there are more PS users. But I'm not sure that the split will be the same, like 2-to-1 for the next gen, if Xbox give as much care and attention to their ecosystem as they have done throughout the end of this generation. I think that gap could drop significantly. But my name's not double-barreled with a hyphen in the middle, so what do I know? I clearly don't know any sort of analysis. Let me just jump to the split screen as well. And put the discussing now on, honestly, great day. Get your head in the game. Having games come out simultaneously across this gen and next gen will surely hurt Xbox. I won't be taking the jump to the Series X just yet if I can play the same games on my Xbox One X. And that's the thing. The worrying thing for me for Xbox there is by being pro-consumer, they are hurting themselves on a business front. In hardware installs, anyway. And it's kind of a tricky one, because if I know that I can play PS5 games at launch that are PS5 exclusive, that are first-party games, then I have a reason to buy the PS5. And if I know that I can play Xbox games on my Xbox One X, that I will then be able to play on my Xbox Series X, I'm kind of feeling, oh, well, which one do I get first? Well, I'm going to buy the PlayStation then, because I can still play my Xbox games. I don't get the graphical fidelity of all of the hardware upgrades, no ray tracing, no 60 to 120 FPS or whatever it's going to be. So I don't get all of that benefit, but I can still play the game. And sometimes you're happy to play the game at a lower spec just to be able to play the game. And if that gives you the ability to play, say Miles Morales is PS5 exclusive and not available on the PS4, which I think it is, but I'm not 100%. You guys might be able to say in the chat. But
Thank you for the ice cream.
Dare to DMAC, good morning, you absolute lads. Thank you very much for the host. Welcome in. How's things? But yeah, say Miles Morales is exclusive to the PS5 and not on the PS4. There's a reason for me to buy the PS5. But if Halo Infinite is available on the on the One X and the Series X, then if I have to choose between one console or the other, I'm going to get the one that gives me new games, new abilities, new experiences, and then I'll continue to play it on the Xbox One X for now. So yeah, it's good for a consumer perspective because it keeps everyone involved, but it's potentially limiting. Nick says, I don't think it matters Gatekeeper TV for overall graphics. As I mentioned, that one PS5 game that was shown was cross-gen and still looked amazing. DMAC! What's up, guys? How's it going? Yeah, it's not too bad. Just trying to keep Baby out of trouble. You know what it's like. Standard daily thing. But yeah, it's fine. What are your thoughts, babe?
Well, I think that with the biggest install base that they've currently got with the PlayStation 4, I think it would be in most people's interest to continue with that cycle, purely because all the games that you've got digitally downloaded in your library on your PlayStation 4, arguably a lot of those will be playable on the PlayStation 5 as well, so there isn't any need to rebuy it again for a different console. That's the way that I would look at it. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to. When they've said backwards compatible, all I've mentioned is the top 100 so far. I don't know if they're going to go back into the PS3, PS2, PS1. I'm guessing probably not at this point. I think that would have been one of their biggest marketing tools if they said, do you know what, you can play all your PS2 games, you can play all your PS1 games and PS3 games on this console. PS4 would just limit it to the top 100, but if you got it digitally, you'll be able to play it straight away. If that was the case, they would have said that already, I think. Unless they think that's their smoking gun leading up to when the console comes out. I'm not sure, but for me, the only logical choice at this moment in time with the games collection that I've started to build over X amount of time is to go for the PlayStation 5, and I'm guessing that's what most people are going to do. The casual gamers won't be asked about what the power is and everything else that comes with the console. If they've got a PlayStation, if they've had a PlayStation originally, they'll probably have bought a PlayStation 2, probably a PlayStation 3, and then a PlayStation 4. Chances are they're going to get a PlayStation 5. I think it's only the boffins like us that will be looking at power, graphic fidelity, and all the other SSD shit that comes with it. That we're the only people that are going to be interested in that. The casuals, which make up probably 70% of the numbers, won't be asked. They'll just continue with what they've already got.
Yeah, I can't wait to get more information on games in terms of which ones are going to be exclusive, which ones are going to be first party only on both sides. Obviously, we've still got a month-ish to wait until we find out the Xbox first party stuff, because that's when we'll start to shelve these conversations. Like I say, we're the boffins that care about stuff like that now, but just like we have with this current generation, power is irrelevant. I want to see what Xbox has up their sleeve, what their titles are that they're not going to be releasing at launch, they're not going to release till later on, but maybe, something could just go, aha, actually we have fuck tons of games coming out, because that changes the whole landscape then. So I can't wait until we know what we're talking about. What games are next gen games? Because when we have an idea of what the games are, when we have an idea of what the experiences are, then we can stop talking about SSDs and
Yeah.
and speeds and RTX and that all becomes irrelevant then. The reason we're talking about that now is because those numbers are in place of experiences that we can relate to. We can't say what it's like to play next year yet because it's next gen, not current gen. So all we can do is put stats by stats, which just gives people, like, it's not like football where you can compare someone's previous stats and so on and go into it. This is a completely different sport. Effectively, it's a different game. So yeah, I want to see the game so we can shelve any mention of stats, because stats. They are relevant, but once you get the finished product, the stats are irrelevant then, because then that's a representation of the culmination of all of those stats together. Surprised they haven't mentioned an update to the PS Cloud to the PS Cloud service PS Now. Guess they still have stuff to announce. Emily 2020W, hello, good morning.
Hello.
Welcome into the stream. How are you doing today? Yeah, see, the thing is though, like this article, the overall tone from Piers Harding Rolls, who is research director for games at Ampere Analysis. Piers Harding Rolls. The gist of it, he's saying, is that console sales are on the decline. So where were the numbers? So the PS2 and Xbox era had 179 million units sold. PS3, Xbox 360 era, 171. So 179 down to 171. The next gen, which was this gen, was down to 157. So do we expect a drop again for the next one? Is that basically saying something that we've kind of had a conversation about in video games for about 10 years or so now? Is there a place in the home for a console? With Salford National Anthem in the background, apologise for that. So with the increase in quality and availability of gaming PCs and tablets and smartphones and other devices like handhelds and so on, is there as much need for consoles? And now we have smart TVs that can play things like Xbox's Game Pass through the cloud and so on. So is there going to be a need for the consoles and stuff going forward? So let's just say this article is right. PlayStation will win this gen because install base and everything going on. But when we start to get to the point when there's no need for a console and it's purely based on getting access to a library, using Craig's comment of surprised they haven't done anything with PS Now yet. If Xbox keep excelling as they are with the Game Pass, PlayStation might win this generation. But if the next generation, they just go, okay, yeah, your console's a Raspberry Pi. You just plug it into whatever device and that's it, job's good. And kind of like we had with Stadia, that's all you need to play things going forward. If we get to that bit and it's just about what's available in the digital catalogue and what the digital offering is, then Xbox, maybe they are playing the long game in that sort of sense. Maybe they're happy to just stay in the race for this gen, and then they're going to take it next gen when the console, that box in your room, suddenly becomes irrelevant. I'm not sure if that's the case because there's still a whole cultural discussion around the box in your living room being a point of interest for the whole family to gather around at Christmas, and there is still that whole thing. But yeah. And it says what I said. If Microsoft shows us some proper next gen games as well, that's where we can compare between titles. Yeah, 100%. Chappers Man says I'm interested in the consoles, but I'd be more PS5 inclined because of that back compatibility. That being said, I just got a gaming PC specifically because I can play most of these newer games either on my PS4 Pro if it's P exclusive, or on PC at 60 FPS if it's on all platforms, or on Xbox. I mean, I'm still more PS5 inclined once again because I'm more PS4 inclined at the moment. I do have both, but that's because we haven't seen the full packages yet. So at the moment, they're both kind of similar in their offerings. I mean, one of them is a fridge, one of them is a Wi-Fi router. There we go. That's the only thing difference really we've got between them. But yeah, I'm still PS5 at the moment. Forgetting what they look like.
I absolutely will be as well. This day and age, though, it's very difficult to put your finger on what console is not just gonna be better, but gonna be the best long-term investment, because like Games Pass now is on PC. There is no need for you to have an Xbox. All of the decent games that come out on Xbox that are first party come out on your PC. Likewise with the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Death Stranding was a PlayStation exclusive. We're getting that on Steam. So eventually games will be available on different platforms. There is obviously going to be exceptions. like Spider-Man, for instance. I don't think that's coming out on anything else now. It's just going to be PlayStation exclusive. I haven't seen it being murmured for Steam.
It
The
was
likelihood is we'll never get that.
it was
Same with The
interesting
Last of Us.
seeing the sorry, interrupting you there. Your point. Interesting seeing that PlayStation conference. So many different slides saying console exclusive, i.e., it's coming out on PlayStation and it's coming out on Steam and PC. I mean, PlayStation haven't really done that before. Before, like, very, very recently, we've had a few things coming to Steam, but everything that's been a PlayStation exclusive has been a PlayStation exclusive. So it's nice to see that they realise that they don't have to be at war with PC. Like Xbox have realised already, they can hold hands with PC and still run their console game as well.
Yeah, we're getting Horizon Zero Dawn on Steam sometime soon as well, aren't we? So
yeah,
all of these PlayStation exclusives, fair enough, they may be timed, but eventually there is a chance that you may see them on a different platform. Maybe not the Xbox, but more likely a PC. I mean, the only time now that I switch my PlayStation on is when I play 10v10 PES. Like, even when me and you play PES now, I don't use my PlayStation. I use my PC because obviously we're modding the shit out of it. So realistically for me, if I was going to choose anything, it probably would be a bigger GPU to go in my potentially a new CPU and a motherboard. Like, I'd be upgrading my PC. But that's in the industry that we're in. Obviously, that I still need to use my PlayStation. So at some point or another, it's just one of these things. I mean, I would much rather have all of my gaming on PC. I am fully converted. I never used to be, but I've just got used to playing on my PC. I spend more time at it now than I do on my PlayStation. So it makes sense for me to be able to do that. But there will be games like The Last of Us that's never come to the PC. The Last of Us 2, that's never going to come to PC. Well, never say never, but the likelihood is it's going to stay on the PlayStation, along with Spider-Man and a few other games as well. So until they start porting over some of the bigger games, I mean, I never would have thought Horizon Zero Dawn would be making it onto Steam anytime soon, and it has.
The
It will be doing.
interesting thing is now we have things like Horizon Zero Dawn. If that does well, and we have Death Stranding, if that's doing well, on so on, PlayStation may suddenly go, do you know what? There's a call to bring the Nathan Drake collection and Uncharted 4 to Steam, and if Naughty Dog are doing that, then the Naughty Dog might bring The Last of Us remastered onto Steam, and then they might bring The Last of Us Part 2 onto Steam. So I think these early games, and I say early, I mean some of them have already been, and some of them still aren't even here, but early in the grand scheme of things. So the Horizons and so on, if these do very well, then that could be a signal to make Naughty Dog go, okay, well we now make for PlayStation, but we will put on PC as well. So
yeah, they could do exactly what Game Pass have done. Just give us an app that we can load up. I mean, we have got PlayStation Remote Play on your PC or your laptop, so you can just like how zero into your PlayStation wherever it may be and play the games over the internet from that. Same way you could do on the PlayStation Vita. But if we could have a Game Pass app or PlayStation Now app, and they make it similar to what we've got with the Game Pass one, then that could be a viable option as well. They may not sell as many copies of the game, but your subscriptions for PlayStation Now, which I imagine they want people to be taking up because they've reduced the price by 50%. So I think it's now £7 a month rather than 16 or 15, whichever one it was previously. They'll want people to do that, and if you can make the most out of PlayStation Now and cut some deals with either first parties or third parties to bring better games and games that people actually want to play or go back to, that could be another business venture for them to be able to go down, especially if it's they want people to play on PC or they've got it compatible wise. I do think they've fallen by the wayside in that respect. They've dropped the ball big time with PlayStation Now. The biggest and best deal in video games at the moment is the Xbox Game Pass. I'm still paying for mine. I still use it all the time to play Football Manager. I've restarted Alan Wake again. Absolutely amazing game if you've never played it. So having those games, over 150 games at your fingertips to download and play at any given time, is massive. PlayStation now have a bigger collection, but there is some absolute garbage in there that no one will ever want to play. So if they can make it a lot more, friendlier or inviting, then I think that could be a massive win for them going into the new generation. But hey ho, that's a multi-million-dollar idea, and you can have that one for free, PlayStation.
Chappersman says the Xbox Game Pass thing is the best thing in gaming, though. In fairness, like the fact I can get any game out of a big library of titles for a small subscription fee is fantastic. It is. It's huge. That is huge, and I wouldn't be surprised if these early dabblings of Horizon and so on, is PlayStation testing the waters for that? Like Bibbs said, they've already started to make drastic changes to PS Now, cutting the price. They've started to have a bit more focus of putting more titles onto it because they've seen how big Xbox Game Pass can be in terms of forgetting revenues, because we don't know what the revenue side of it is, but just community sentiment. Xbox Game Pass, we've just had it there in the chat, is revered. Everyone absolutely loves what Xbox have been doing with Game Pass. So that's a good community, user-focused sentiment to have. So if PlayStation are learning from those, then maybe these games are the idea of they're testing the waters of the app that Bibbs just said, that maybe they do have a PS Now app on PC, so you can just play the game straight on it. Who knows? I agree, the back catalogue, PS1, PS2 games especially, could be a goldmine for them. See, that is huge. I mean, I'm quick to forget that stuff, because most of the time, I think something like a Game Pass is whilst it's also good, at the same time it's yes, you've got 20,000 games on Game Pass, and it's like, oh wow, but then I look at it and it's like, I'm going to play 4% of that, so it's kind of irrelevant. I mean, I'd be interested to play 4%. I'm not even gonna play 4%. So a lot of the PS1, PS2 stuff, the backwards compatibility, I mean, it's tailored towards a different person. That's tailored to Bib rather than me. So that doesn't fuss me that much. But it's a big bit. For me personally, I wouldn't be bothered about that. I would be more bothered about getting good titles on it when they're being talked about. Because the issue with something like Game Pass is if you put The Last of Us on it, you're going to lose out on a shitload of sales. But you're going to get a shitload of sales of Game Pass, which then could renew for 3-4 months or whatever, and then you've made your money. You've made more money for it. But the gamble is there, whereas Xbox have taken that gamble with Gears going straight onto it, with Forza going straight onto it, PUBG console at the height of its heyday kind of thing, straight out. It was there as Game Pass launched kind of thing. So they are trialing the waters there.
Let's not forget though, the games that they actually put onto Game Pass day one was when they actually put the deal out for £1, so you could have 3 months of Xbox Game Pass for £1, and they put AAA games on that day. That is a business venture, my friends.
Yeah, absolute loss leader. They would have lost a lot of money for that initially, because they'd have had to either pay to get those games onto Game Pass, or they're paying out for people for let's say PUBG. I mean, it's a game I don't play very often, so you'll have to bear with my understanding for it. So let's say PUBG. Loads of people could buy that. It's only £20 game, but still, loads of people could have bought that. But instead, they've spent £1 and they've played it for 3 months. And then Xbox then gives a kickback to PUBG Corp for number of minutes or hours or whatever the metric is they base it on. So if I spend all month playing PUBG, then Xbox gives more than the £1 that they've got from me to PUBG Corp. They've lost money, that's it. But if that keeps me in and keeps me playing PUBG, and after 3 months, I spend £7.50, and then another month £7.50, and another month £7.50. Suddenly, they're recouping their money then over and over again. So that's kind of how it works. And the fact that they're still doing that kind of makes me think it's a good mechanism. Not just a consumer focused one that they will eventually start to fizzle out, but something that hopefully will be sustainable going forward. Issue for backwards compat is licensing issues. It's why we don't get Tony Hawk's Remaster, because the licensing destroys backwards compat. 100%. Backwards compatibility wasn't even considered when most video games were being created. That's why sports games hardly on backwards compat, because you don't have the license to feature a specific player. Football games, for example, you can feature players that are playing now if you have the FIFA Pro license. Once they retire, they're not a member of FIFA Pro, you can't have their license. So you have to license them individually then. A kit that a player is wearing is licensed by that club and that manufacturer for that season. Next season, it's irrelevant. So yeah, there's all sorts of that sort of stuff. To reproduce that, even though it's the exact same game, it's a reproduction of it. It then comes under new licensing laws. So yeah, we don't know if Sony will do smart delivery, something similar. If they don't do that, then smart delivery will be huge for Xbox. I think it will be, but for consumer purposes. But the difference there though is Sony can get past that by having next gen exclusive. So I get the smart delivery thing. But like I say, is that Xbox changing the conversation? It could be. It could be smoke and mirrors. It's, smart delivery. You buy now and you save because you get it for next gen for free. And it's like, all right then, but it's not just a next gen game. Whereas PlayStation could get past that by going, okay, yeah, we haven't got smart delivery on titles that are cross-gen, which is a bit shit. Let's face it is a bit shit if they don't. I mean, I feel they need to address that conversation, but they could change their focus to be, okay, we're not focused on smart delivery because Miles Morales is just next gen. So if you want to play games across both gen, then you might as well just get it on the last gen kind of thing. But if you want to play next gen that way, I mean, each one has flaws and each one has positives, which we've picked apart many, many times. So we won't jump into that now. But one thing we can jump into, speaking of the PS5, let me just bring this up. This is going on a little bit of a tangent, so it's not so much to do with the PS5 outside the Xbox, just something cool that I saw on the tweeters last night. Bring up Chrome. There we go. So this is a tweet from @Dan Dawkins, games journalist. You may have heard of him, content director at Games Radar. He tweeted this, so he quote tweeted someone else linking to sketchfab.com, which is a 3D model of the PS5. Within that, let me see if I can. I think, have I still got it open? I do. So this looks a bit naff on the screen. I can scroll around. I can see what the PS5 looks like. I'll drop the link in the chat in just a sec, because if you open this on the mobile, you can fully like rotate up, down, and it's much more smoother than this sort of clunky rotation. It's really good. But anyway, the point being that you can look at it in augmented reality, so you can see what the PS5 would look like in your living room or your studio or your bedroom or wherever you're planning to have it. And long story short, we knew it already, but look at the fucking size of that! That is massive. That is huge, yeah. So that, for comparison, there is a PS4 Pro with an Xbox on top of it, and the PS5 would be bigger almost in every dimension than that.
It's nearly as big as the cabinet on the floor without the stand. Like, the cabinet's on a stand and legs, and it's almost as big as that.
Yeah,
it's mental.
Ridiculous.
Imagine the weight of it, though. It's going to be so like with it being. It's not going to be hollow inside, is it? Every single part of that box, because there would no need to make the box that big if every single inch of that console wasn't being used. So it's just going to be so heavy.
There you go. There's the link in the chat. It's like I say, hopefully that's the same one. If you click through on your mobile, though, it is, like I say, it's really good, because that's when, I mean, I've just been doing it in here as we were going live to see if I could test the AR kind of stuff on it. But yeah, on mobile, I'll see if I can show you it here. You have to bear with, but like you can rotate, move up, down, and so on. Obviously, it's only a mock-up. And the way that people have got that is by measuring the width and height of a USB port and then using that to scale the rest of the console. It isn't an actual sized mock-up. In terms of the sizes haven't been given out by Sony. Someone has used that based on what they've seen and then tried to scale it off of the USB. So it's a reasonably well-educated guess. Well, a very well-educated guess. And AR is obviously open to interpretation. Your phone might go, oh, yes, this is how big it is, and make it 50% bigger than it should be in a given space. So take it all with a pinch, but it's a nice little cool thing to have a tinker with anyway. The control pads looked huge on that image. Did they? I can't remember what we looked at. They did, actually, to be fair. That's a good point. Yeah, look at the controllers underneath the TV. They're like, massive controller! That controller, is that a Stadia controller, the white one? It's about the same size as a PSVR headset. Look at that! Okay, maybe this person's just absolutely having us all over. Asim says it's not going to be in his cabinet. It will be in his bed, spooning. Yeah, you're goddamn right. But anyway, let's move forward. So the PS5, have a tinker with that AR thing, Photoshop jobby thing. It's good. It's a nice. Obviously, take it with a pinch. I mean, we do know it's massive. Actually, before we do move ahead, let me see. I'm gonna have to hide Bib. 1 second. Bye, Bib. And then come off this. Let's go to Jordan, because Jordan did share. Oh no, it was on Twitter, I think, actually. So never mind. I'll go back to Bib, bring him back again.
Hello.
And then Jordan sent me an image for size comparisons. There we go. So let me bring this on screen as well. Just whilst we're on the subject of sizes, it might be worth covering this now. So the PS5 will outsell the Xbox Series X. Yes, we know that. Get out of the way. So those, if you're interested in sizing, these are size comparisons: height, length, and width. Height? What's a height? So yeah, as you'd expect, the PS5 is taller than a PS4 Pro on its side, which is taller than an Xbox Series X and Xbox One. It's considerably taller as well, and then. It's longer, so from front to back, it has more length than a PS4 Pro. It's about half. Actually, no, that's side to side, should I say? So from one side to the other, should I say? So it's thinner than an Xbox Series X, which is 6.03, obviously the cube shape. So the Xbox Series X has more girth on it, whereas the width in terms of front to back, the PS5 has more than the Xbox Series X. So basically, the Xbox is a block, and the PS5 is a slate. Nothing we didn't know, but there you go. There you go. There you go. That will just fit in my TV cabinet. Well, that will just fit where my TV is. So I'm going to get rid of my TV. But yeah, big consoles. I will have to look at where the heck that goes, because there's no way I can fit my my Xbox and that in the same place. So, But anyway, let's move forward. Enough of the PS5 news. This one was leaked over the weekend by Xbox, GG, but was announced yesterday at 4 PM on social media. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, but here it is. Star Wars Squadrons is a space dogfighting game with a single-player story, written by Tom Ivan for VGC. The title is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC this October. I'll hit play of the trailer whilst we're scrolling down. So Electronic Arts will release Star Wars Squadrons on October the 2nd for consoles and PC, priced at $39.99, that's in dollars. The first-person space dogfighting game will be available for PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam, Origin, and the Epic's Game Store. That's interesting. Again, I mean, not surprising, but just confirmation that EA have started to put their games out on Steam as opposed to just through Origin. And once again, a new release. I think this might even be the first new release that's available on Steam as opposed to just back catalogue that's been made more available. Anyway, in development at EA's Montreal-based Motive Studios, the title includes an original single-player campaign set after the events of Return of the Jedi and 5v5 multiplayer space battles. It will support cross-play on all platforms, and the PS4/PC version of the game will also support VR. Unlucky Xbox. Featuring new characters and some cameos from established ones, the story mode will see players learning to become a pilot from the perspective of two characters, one fighting for the New Republic's Vanguard Squadron and the other serving the Galactic Empire's Titan Squadron. Online fleet battles will task players with destroying the opposing team's flagship, while dogfights challenge teams to eliminate as many opponents as possible across established and brand new locations like the gas giant of Yavin Prime and the shattered moon of Galitan. Nice, sexy imagery. So EA says Squadrons will feature rich cosmetic and gameplay customization options, with all content unlocked solely through gameplay. Yay! Thank fuck for that! As they progress through the ranks, players will be able to earn new weapons, hulls, engines, and shields, as well as cosmetic items for their ship and pilot. And the quote within the article says, "We created this game for every Star Wars fan who has ever dreamt about soaring across the galaxy in their favourite starfighter," said Motive Studios creative director Ian Frazier, who was previously lead designer of Mass Effect Andromeda and Kingdoms of Amalur. Through the collaboration of the teams at Motive and Lucasfilm, we've been able to create a high-fidelity starfighter experience with an authentic storyline that invites Star Wars fans to explore never-before-seen corners of the galaxy in their own ship. Star Wars Squadrons leaked via the Microsoft Store last week before being officially announced by EA. A gameplay reveal will form part of the delayed EA Play Live showcase on June the 18th. That's this Friday, by the way, if you didn't know that. It's also been reported that EA will start teasing a Battlefield 3 remaster, yay, and announce EA Sports UFC 4 at this week's digital event. So, Bib, tell me more. Tell me more.
Not gonna lie, got a very small chubby when I was watching the trailer for this. Please tell me that everybody in the chat has seen the trailer for this. The sound design in this game is gonna be electric. It's going to be so good. I'm really looking forward to playing this. I think I sent this to you yesterday, and it said if it's in VR, I am sold, and that I think will be the difference. It's going to be great playing it with your controller, but I think if you was to play it in VR, it'll be an absolute game changer because I can't remember which one it is. I don't know if it was Call of Duty that had a PSVR free like tech demo, and that was amazing on its own. Never mind a full Star Wars flying game. It'll be amazing.
Just want to quickly change subject because I'm wondering why there's a Doctor Disrespect video playing on my stream. They haven't disabled the next video kind of stuff when they've embedded that, so we've gone from Star Wars Squadron to the history of Doctor Disrespect Twitch superstar. Nice. Reload that. I'll put the trailer back on because Bib said if you haven't seen the trailer, what the fuck? So I'll put it back on screen for those that haven't. There we go. This is the trailer. Rather than me scrolling down, because we'd missed out while I was reading through the article there.
I just seen Jordan say no VR for the title. What do you mean? What does it mean there's no VR? It says PlayStation 4 and PC versions of the game will also support VR.
Yeah, it literally says it right there. It will support crossplay on all platforms, and the PS4 PC versions of the game will also support VR. Do you mean on Xbox? Full 4K on One X, yeah boy, no VR for the title. Maybe just means on Xbox, but yeah. I mean that's been rumored though. Xbox are working. Was it Valve or was it Facebook? I can't remember. Xbox is working on their own VR stuff, so yeah, maybe not for this specific title, but I imagine Xbox will enter the game at some point on that.
I think one of the biggest things about it as well is that everything will be unlocked by playing the game. Imagine that in 2020, being able to play and complete a game to unlock further bits involved in the story for the game without having to dip into your pocket and pay to win or pay to unlock or whatever other crap is involved in microtransactions. Imagine just playing the game for playing the game's sake. That's amazing.
Yeah, I love the idea of the fact that there's still going to be people pissy and moany about the fact that this is included. I mean, was that in the press release? I've not seen the press release. So if that is in the press release, that's them getting out in front, going, people are going to complain and say, you know, we've fecked up with Battlefront 2 in terms of the progression system. And it's pretty much being paid to play for a lot of things. Or absolute hell grind to be able to play. So either they've included it in the press release and gone, let's just get out in front and shut that conversation up now. Or it's just a case of journalists are starting the conversation within the articles, which I mean, the right to do so. But either way, whichever reason it is, the underlying point, we don't have to grind for 100 hours or whatever it was to get Darth Vader. A lot of people won't play any game for 100 hours, never mind that just to get one character out of many. Oh, there we go, Dr. Disrespect reacts to Sony's PlayStation 5 reveal. Cancel. Yeah, comments in the chat. Well up for this, says Asim. Good that it has single player. Hopefully as good as Rogue Squadron games on GameCube. Yeah, I hope so. I'm probably getting the wrong game mode because I didn't play that much of Battlefront 2, even though it is good now. But was it Galactic Assault? Is that the one where you play as like the starfighters and things like that in space? That was good. But I don't feel like it had the legs for me to really enjoy that because you kind of had like pew pew pew, and then you had and then you had whoosh, and that was pew pew was your lasers, was your like blaster cannon kind of thing, and the whoosh was like an evasive maneuver, and it was kind of like rinse and repeat that for too long. It didn't have the depth of it. So yeah. Chappers says I'm so excited. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we want. My bad. They said no PSVR last night on announcement, but this one, it's changed. Did you say a Battlefield 3 remake / remaster? Says Craig. Yes, the final comments in this article says, the very final line. It's also been reported that EA will start teasing a Battlefield 3 remaster and announce EA Sports UFC 4 at this week's digital events. So there was an article that went up 5 days ago. Just click through on where they've link that saying Battlefield 3 remaster will reported release alongside Battlefield 6. DICE said to be switching focus to modern day conflicts for the next gen releases. Thank fuck for that. I mean, it's only taken you 5 fecking years, but yeah. Oh, people want to take part in Modern Warfare. That, you know, some of the biggest selling games of all time have been based on Modern Warfare. How about we give them iron sights in 1923? No! No! But yeah, you've got there eventually. Thanks, guys. Chill out, Graham. Stop being stressy. God, chill out, mate. Chill out. It's alright, we're all friends. Anyway, Star Wars Squadrons. Expect more content of that in the EA Play Live. This EA Play. I almost said it like the dude then. This Friday, that's the 18th, EA Play Live will be taking place. Not live from LA. Is it even called live? Is it EA? I don't know what it's called. They did have the name in the article, but I put it off. EA Play Live, yeah, so there we go. Showcase June 18th. Make sure you check that out. You get more information on Star Wars Squadrons, as well as Battlefield 3 Remaster, potentially, maybe Battlefield 6, maybe EA Sports UFC 4, plus the Maddens, NHLs, and all the rest. But yeah, let's move forward. Craig says, love that. I want a Battlefield Bad Company 2 Remaster 2, please. Oh, yes, please. Fucking love that, Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Yes, please.
Oh, we're full on, like, destructible environments. Yes, please. That is what led to Battlefield 3's Levolution, which I wasn't a big fan of Levolution because that was more like an in-game event as opposed to actively sniffing out campers in buildings. So yeah, yes, please. Louis Ferno in the chat. Now that
Shag.
Yes, I am. Anyway, move forward. Come on. There we go, PC wake up. Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2, the device event featured a massive tsunami indicating big changes for Season 3. Lewis in the chat? Yes, I am. Lauren Aitken for VG247 has written this article, and it goes on to say Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 is coming to a close, and the Fortnite, the device, the event that aired today, that was yesterday, showed the illustrious Battle Royale game getting smacked around by a massive tsunami. Fortnite, the device live event, sees Midas' plans finally come to fruition and gives us a look into what the Doomsday device is actually capable of. Although it was already rumoured that the map would flood, leaving the majority of Fortnite underwater, the impact of the tsunami is still pretty shocking. After the device prevents its encroaching wrath, ensuring that landlubbers are still able to traverse Fortnite's map, the water still lingers in a perfect circle around its circumference. In fact, it appears the tsunami is being held at bay. It appears the tsunami being held at bay has properly replaced the storm. Oh, there you go. Check out footage of the event from Gatu in the video embedded below, which isn't there, cheers. Also, it's worth mentioning that we got a decent look at Jonesy in a suit talking about storms and things being unstable. You get the gist. Check him out below. The event aired earlier today and will not be repeated. If you missed the event in-game, you can catch yourself up by referring back to the video from Gatu embedded above. You'll also you'll be able to get a good look at the new water storm, as well as all of the lovely marine creatures knocking around beneath the waves. In the meantime, there are lots of challenges to be getting on with prior to the start of Season 3 on Wednesday, including the Storm the Agency challenges. You can check out the latest. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's just the general how to play Fortnite stuff there. So, long story short, Fortnite, massive tsunami, replace the storm. Yeah. Have you seen any of the footage of this bit?
I have not, but I was actually considering firing this bad boy up, and I've still got the season pass active, and I think I'm like level 10. I've just not played much of it at the moment, but I was actually considering booting this bad boy back up again. See how far I can get in Season 2 before Season 3 starts again.
I think you've got maybe till Monday, maybe not. You might even have less than that. I know that they keep delaying it and so on because of the countdown event and stuff yet. But I know that
embedded tweet doesn't work, by the way, because the YouTube video has been taken down. It says this live stream recording is not available, so I'm guessing they've been copyrighted or copywritten or whatever the term is.
Ah, yeah, there we go. I just clicked through and seen the same thing as well. Interesting. Well, this one is the first one that's ever been watched live in my household, as my little one, not by me, my little one was playing Fortnite yesterday, so she could take part in this live event, and she did see some of it before it kind of kicked her. But the interesting thing is, I mean, in the chat, Jordan says Fortnite event was terrible, literally the worst one yet. I wonder if like that is a general consensus, because this was the most watched thing at once on Twitch ever. We were talking about the LCS finals for League of Legends, which had like 1.7 million. Fortnite, I think it was the Fortnite World Cup, had 1.7 million concurrent viewers on it, wasn't it? It was Fortnite's Black Hole event had 1.7 million viewers. This had 2.3 million concurrent viewers. One streamer had 970,000 viewers. That's huge. But yeah, 2.3 million. So the biggest that anything has ever hit on Twitch concurrently before was 1.7. Add another over 500,000 to that. That's huge. Asim says, with a link to Fortnite's Twitter, not bad for terrible. I have no interest in Fortnite, by the way. Lies. Let's have a look at this embedded tweet then. We were overwhelmed by the response to the device. At 12 million players in game, we capped participation for stability, while 8.4 million watched live on Twitch and YouTube. As we push the edge of what live events can be, we're improving systems so more of you can experience them in game. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's huge. It was like 12 million there. It was like 2.3 on Twitch, and I think it was like 6.1 on YouTube. So in that case, it was probably around 12.5 million by the end of it. But that is phenomenal. There's probably a number of factors in there. The fact that the event had been delayed by 3 or 4 times will have probably increased desire for it. The fact that we're still in lockdown, so a lot of people will have had more time for that. And the bit that they were saying they were they capped participation in the game for stability. This has been the most capped. I was reading an article yesterday. The most capped Star Wars event that has ever taken place, and people playing like devil's advocate were kind of saying, "Is that because they wanted stability?" I mean, maybe it is, but they've had like millions of people in the Marshmello concert and the Travis Scott concert and so on before. Are they actually capping for participation, or do they know that if they cap it in game, people will watch Ninja and Tim the Tatman and whoever else play or view it live on stream? So not only will they get players in game, but they will break records on Twitch, on YouTube by locking people out, which is bizarre. I mean, if that is the case, imagine having a game so influential that you don't want people to play it so you can break records. Don't play my game! So as Fortnite's follow-up tweet, so this does give you a bit more information, but you're saying you might jump back into it. The device event sets the stage for the new season launch on Wednesday. We can't wait for you to dive in. So
then tomorrow?
Yes, I don't know what time though. But yeah, Chloe was showing me pictures like the agency, which was the building in the middle of the map, is now gone. There's like some big hole and stuff. She was showing me pictures this morning while we were having breakfast, but we were rushing to get to school, so I don't really know. But yeah, so that it's a marketing and social community anomaly, behemoth. It is ridiculous. Anything you would ever work for or work towards, or anything that you'd take from any sort of theoretical modelling system that you would have done studying marketing or journalism or sales principles just get out of the window with Fortnite. It's ridiculous. Like things like, I mean, I've mentioned it previously, I love the fact that Fortnite understand their game is free. They understand that people at Gamescom can play Fortnite literally at Gamescom. They can play it on their phone. So they still have a presence at Gamescom, but they don't put their game there, because what's the point? You can play it at home. You don't have to queue. You can play it on your phone at the event. You don't have to queue. So why are they doing it? So what they do instead is have a crash, like an assault course or whatever, because they realise our game's so big, we don't even need you to play it. You know what it is. So instead, we'll give you something else that's fun and cool, which will make you think Fortnite is cool, which is ridiculous. It's like, yeah, it's. I bet working in the social and community teams at Epic on Fortnite must be amazing, because it's like, what the fuck shall we do today? I don't know. They've just got a dartboard of stupid ideas that they go, that one, pow. I mean, I'm not belittling it. I mean, it'll still be hard as feck, and I bet they get so much hate. And Salford National Anthem again in the background. Apologies for that. I bet they get so much shit, but yeah, from the people that aren't dealing in the customer service side of their social, I bet it's fun as fuck. But yeah. Feel free to check Bib out, as he just confirmed, 24-hour live stream as he finishes his season cap. So yeah, nice one, Bib. GG.
Yeah.
And then finally, seeing as we've had some console talk and we've had some video game talk that goes full cross-platform, it would be poor of us to not include, at least another platform in our content. And this one focuses on Nintendo, as Nintendo has released a free Switch game its developers created from home. It's written by Andy Robinson for VGC, a fresh news article from this morning. So Jump Rope Challenge is free for a limited time. So Nintendo has released a free Switch fitness game which says it was created by a small group of its developers while working from home. Jump Rope Challenge was created as a simple activity to add some quick fun movement into their daily life, the company said on Tuesday. Feck off with fun activity movements after my exercise this morning. This game can get in the bin. So the game has players using a pair of Joy controllers and imagining them as the handles of a skipping rope. Jump Rope Challenge features hopping bunnies as characters, simple menus and no tutorials to skip through, so it's quick and easy to get started.